Hello and welcome. My name is Amanda and today is day one of the R.I.P. Readathon. And I just wanted to start off by recapping my TBR in case you weren't able to catch my TBR video. So, 5 reading challenges. Number 1 is group read. I'm not planning to read the group read. But number 2 is a book you'd like to read in peace. And for that I have Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I think this will be my first. Actually, I'm debating between this and Out of Oz on which one is my first one to pick up for this readathon. We'll see what it ends up being, but this one's really small, so I should be able to get to it fairly quickly, or get through it fairly quickly. And then number 3 is Pastel on the Cover. I have 2 options for this. I've got Out of Oz by Gregory Maguire, which is the one I'm leaning towards, since I really want to finish this series, and this is the last book in the series. And I also have Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo, which is the first book in the Grishaverse. So I think I'd like to finish a series before I start a series, but we'll see how that goes. And then the 4th prompt is a treat to read, and for that I am reading Fallen by Lauren Kate. I've had this book on my shelf for ages and ages, and I actually just started listening to it on Scribd. I'm maybe like 15-20 minutes in, so that's my audiobook pick, and it's only about like 10 hours, so I should be able to get through it fairly quickly. And then the last prompt is Bewitching, and for that I have The Wicked Deep by Shay Earnshaw. So we'll see how many of these I can actually get through in the week. Like I said, right now I'm listening to Fallen, so that's one book, and then these 2 are my potential picks for books that I read physically. These books always take me forever to get through, but like I said, I really want to finish a series. And if I don't read Frankenstein until a little later in the month, I would be okay with that. Whereas Out of Oz, if I don't read it this week, I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to get to it this month at all. So we'll see. But that's just my little update for the moment, and I will, I guess, turn on the camera again when I've got an actual reading update or something fun and interesting for you guys. So I'll see you soon. Hello, so just a quick update before I head off to bed. I did decide to pick up Out of Oz by Gregory Maguire, and I am 62 pages into it. I was counting the number of pages in A Lion Among Men, nope, Out of Oz, and the Glass Magician, because that's a book I had started 2 weeks ago maybe, and I only got 16 pages in, so I figured I could finish that this week as well, and then I'll just save my other books for later in the month. But with the total pages for these 2 books, I would need to read a total of 108 pages a night in order to finish them both by Sunday. So obviously I didn't get there tonight, but I'm too tired, and like I said, those books are so difficult for me to get to. I think it's his word choice and just his sentence structure, and it's so like dense, I think. And it's just too wordy. But we're getting places. We're back with the focus on Glinda, who we haven't really seen in the last 2 books, and a lot of the storylines are starting to come together again. And then for Fallen, which is my audiobook for right now, running stretching over there. Fallen is my audiobook right now, and it was like almost an 11-hour audiobook, and I think I have 7 hours left. So that's going fairly quickly. I'll probably finish it not tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow, maybe. It might not be till Thursday, we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted. So this week Goodness gracious, he cannot get comfortable. So this week is going to be a bit of a busy week. On Wednesday, I have my violin lesson, and my friend Bailey and I are also going to see Long Long. So I probably won't have any time to read on Wednesday. And then Friday night, we're either taking the kiddo to one of my brother's indoor soccer games, or we are gonna go watch a high school football game, whichever one the kid decides he wants to do. And then Saturday we're going to the pumpkin patch, and Sunday we have family pictures / engagement pictures. So it'll be a busy one, but I actually have like fun things to do and stuff during this vlog, I guess. So yeah, I'll be looking forward to having those memories on video. But that's gonna be it for me tonight. It's like 8:45 and I'm tired, so I'm gonna get myself to bed, get the tired pups to bed, and then I guess get back to it tomorrow. So I will try and check in with you all tomorrow once I've got more reading updates. So good night for now. Alright, so we are now on day 2 of the readathon, and I kind of realized that I really didn't give you a good synopsis of what this book is about. So I remember when I was explaining it in my TBR, I couldn't recall if this was a book about shapeshifters or angels or like werewolves or something. I think it's about angels, but I'm not 100% positive yet. So this story follows Luce, who is a 16, 17-year-old girl who had a bad incident happen, and then her parents sent her off to a sort of boarding school, more or less, for kind of troubled kids. So she's made some friends. She's infatuated with 2 different guys, and there's this one in particular who she feels like she's met before, but he claims they haven't. But I think they have, and I think they go through this cycle of new lives or something, where he can recall everything and her mind has been wiped, and I think maybe there's an outcome they're supposed to reach that they haven't yet reached. I don't know yet. I'm about a third of the way in. I have 6 hours left, and it's all right so far. I do like the school setting. I keep picturing this more as a book set in New England, but this is actually set in Georgia, and it's kind of late summertime. So they're talking about how hot and humid it is, but I don't know, in my head I just picture, and maybe it's because of the season that it is right now, I just picture that it's autumn and everything's cool and crisp. I think the weather is starting to change, but we're not quite there yet. So Luce is just trying to figure out her life at this new school and trying to keep her past a secret, because there was something pretty bad that happened between her and a boy that not a lot of people know. She's made some friends, she's made some enemies, and so it'll be interesting to see where this goes, and if she and Daniel actually can have a cohesive conversation. He's super hot and cold towards her, and he just gave her this BS excuse why. So we'll see where that goes. It's written like your typical young adult novel. I think it was published in 2019, so it's already 10 years old. Excuse me, 2009. Yeah, 2009 copyright date. So there's definitely some things that haven't aged super well within this. But it's still, I mean, for what it's worth, it's not too bad. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. And then, yeah, other than that, I did update you with where I am with Out of Oz. I'm 60 some odd pages following Glinda right now. And these flashback memories of some unknown female character, who I think I know who it is, but I'm not entirely positive. And it'll be interesting to see how that wraps up. I'm also trying to switch between the audiobook for Fallen and Children of the Mind, which doesn't count for this readathon, but I only have like a week left of my hold and I know someone's waiting. So I want to try and finish that, but I'm just not super intrigued by it. And then also I'm going to try and read The Glass Magician, which is a book that I was 16 pages into at the start of this readathon, which I'm going to count anyway, just because I'll probably end up rereading those 16 pages because it's been about a week since I picked that book up, so I kind of remember what happens, but I also don't remember what happens. So I've got 4 books going right now, which is not typical for me at all. It's been something this year. I've just been, and it's mostly because of readathons. Like I have usually an audiobook and a physical book going at the same time, and I don't finish them prior to a readathon starting, and I don't want to count them towards the readathon most of the time. So then, but then I have this pressure to get a holdback to the library, and so I've got 2 audiobooks, 2 physical books going right now for a total of 4 books. I hope I get through them all before the weekends. We'll see. I'll keep you posted though. We just had a guy out to inspect our pellet stove. Everything passed, so my home refinance should go through now, so I can start saving some moolah and buy a new car in time for the winter season so that I don't have to put new tires on my car, which seems counterintuitive. Like my car is fully paid off, but it's also a 2002 Mazda Tribute, and so even though it doesn't have a lot of mileage on it, we are getting to that point where maintenance is going to cost a bit to keep her up and running. And she's died on me on 2 separate occasions. And I just don't want to pay a couple $100s for tires when I can put that money towards a car payment. So I haven't had a car payment since, well, I haven't really ever had a car payment. I am very fortunate that my parents helped me buy my first car and then this car after that one got totaled. But I did pay off my car with like a $2,000 or $3,000 chunk before I went to college in Montana, which was back in like 2012. So I've never had a car payment, but I've also not put money towards a car for 6 years. So it'd be nice to get into a new car and not have to worry about maintenance as much. So we'll see. But anyway, home refinance has nothing to do with reading. Same with pellet stove inspection. I'm gonna try and read a little bit more, and I think of Out of Oz to get up to where I should have stopped last night that I didn't. And then I don't know what I'm gonna do, so I will keep you posted whenever it comes to that. So we'll check in with a little bit, in a little bit, hopefully. We are now on day 3 of the Read and Peace Readathon, and I've made some more progress in my books. Yesterday, I think when I left off, I was going to continue reading to the section I needed in Out of Oz, and I got there, which was conveniently like the next part. There we go. Yeah, and then I read just a couple more one more chapter. I love the like the pages that go into the next parts for these books. They're really fun, but I'm really liking it so far. We've got Glinda, who we were mostly following in that part, the first, and the, I guess, traveling band that travels with the time dragon. So a lot of our characters are brought together in this book, and I don't want to give too many spoilers because it is the last book in the series, but there is a little girl who has been a like a broom maid, I guess, at Glinda's house, who she then takes to be with the traveling time clock people. That way she can be safe, because there's this Colonel or General Cherrystone or whatever his name is, who's working with the Emperor of Oz now, and at this point Munchkin Land is a free state of Oz, and they're trying to reclaim it as a state again. So she's trying to get the little girl out of the way, that way she's protected, because the general is figuring out that she is someone of value. So I like that section. It did, again, like, I like these stories. They're just so much to get through, and I think it's just because of his writing style. I don't particularly like it, but I really like his ideas. And so I think this next section is gonna follow the traveling group for a little bit. So it'll be interesting to kind of see what it's like, because we haven't gotten a lot from their point of view in the past books. So it'll be nice to have that. I've also listened to maybe another chapter or two of Fallen. Where I'm listening to it on Scribd. I'm in chapter 11. I've got 8 minutes left of that, and so I have 5 hours left. And then last night I read 108 pages, which was my allotted time or page count, in order to finish both Out of Oz and The Glass Magician. I needed to read 108 pages of either book, so I decided to switch to The Glass Magician, which means I'm at page like 130 of 212. So I have less than 100 pages left in that, which is great. I'm loving that story a lot as well. It picks up where Paper Magician left off, so Sienny and Emerythane are still, he's the Paper Magician and she's his apprentice. They're still dealing with the repercussions of what happened at the end of Paper Magician, and new characters are coming into play and causing all sorts of not so great things. And I'm really liking their ship. I don't know if it's a relationship, a friendship, a companionship, a one-sided ship. I don't know what it is, but I like it. And I still like the world that this is building. We're getting to learn more about the other magics that people can do. Like, we learned a lot about gaffers, I think is, or gaffers, which are people who can manipulate like mirrors and I think glass, but it's mostly mirrors, and like you can speak, you can connect to mirrors and speak as like a cell phone, or you can travel between mirrors, which is really cool and also really creepy. So we're learning more about that, and I think that's been really fun. Next time I check in, my hair's gonna be, I don't know if it's gonna be done or if it's gonna be braided in the front and pulled back in a bun. I don't know if I'm wearing it down. I just don't know yet. But I'll have makeup on my face, and I will probably be on my way or on the ferry to Seattle. Maybe that's when I'll check in again. I'll probably do some B-roll footage of while I'm in Seattle, because I am going to the symphony tonight. As I mentioned, my friend Bailey and I are singing Long Long, and I'm pretty sure it's Mozart he's playing, but it could, no, it might be Beethoven. I don't know. Piano is my friend Bailey's world. I love it, but I'm a violin player, so I pay more attention to like the violin concerts and things we go to, whereas she's like super into the, well, she pays attention to it all because she's just great. But I'm really excited for that. It feels like today is Friday, even though it's Wednesday, just because I'm going to be out late tonight. But yeah, I'll show you a little bit of downtown Seattle at least. So that'll be fun. And we'll see what kind of reading I can get done before then. I'm gonna fall behind at this stage on my physical reading because I don't think today I'll be able to get 108 pages in to either book. We'll see though. Maybe I'll bring my Kindle with me, which I'm reading The Paper Magician on, and I can read it on the boat. But also, Bailey and I haven't seen each other for too long, probably a month at this point, so we've got a lot of catching up to do. We do work together, but because we all work from our home offices, we don't see each other as much anymore, and we used to sit across from each other. So that's my update for right now. I've got the underwriter coming in 5 minutes so that I can finalize my house refinance and I can save some monies, which is awesome. So I'm gonna check a couple more emails and things, and then I'll see you in a little bit, hopefully with more reading done. The next time you saw me, I would have my makeup done. I just had my hair done too. I got a braid in it, but it's just down. I might put it back. We'll see, so that I can wear a scarf, but I'm not sure. So, I've been listening to more of my audiobook. I've got 2 hours left in Fallen, which I'll be able to get a good chunk of that listened to, at least another hour today, just from my drive to my violin lesson and then home after the symphony. That's what it is. And then I should finish it up tomorrow, I would think. So right now, I'm leaning on a box from Amazon. I ordered some clear umbrellas for Sunday, just in case it decides to rain. It's actually really nice out right now. But I think Saturday and Sunday are still showing rain, and I was just looking for my phone to look at the weather. But I got some umbrellas, which you would think most people in Washington would have umbrellas. But I think because we're so used to how much it rains, we just don't even care to have something else that's wet to lug around. So I don't have umbrellas, and I know that these are a cuter option for family pictures anyway. And since we're getting married in April, which is springtime, we'll probably need them for the wedding anyway. So I'll show you what we got. All right, so I got 2 women's sizing. The regular, like the description that didn't say women's, was $24. And the one that did said $15. So obviously I went with the women's ones because of course I'm gonna save 10 bucks. And then I also got a kids one. So here they are, a little bit of size difference. And they're just the like bubble umbrellas, or the dome. I don't even know what you would call them. We can move outside so that way I don't get bad luck for opening an umbrella inside, and I can show you what it looks like. Let's go. All right, we're on the porch and it's a little windy. You can probably hear the wind chime, but I don't really have a good place to put you that's not here. I'll let you out in a second, little one. Ugh. There we go. Ta-da! Look how cute this is. Just a little dome. You like it, Aoife? Not so sure about that? So, yeah. That'll be good for pictures and whatnot. You want to say hi? Hello. But I'm hoping, I guess I hope we do have to use them since I paid for them, but if we don't have to use them, that won't be so bad either. But that's our umbrellas, because I know you were dying to see them and watch me fuss over putting this thing down. There we go. Alright, I'm gonna eat lunch now. I've got a little bit of time before I have to leave for my lesson, and I guess we'll show you my outfit for what I'm wearing when I decide to take off. So we'll get to that in a little bit, but for right now I am going to eat lunch and get back to work for a little bit. So I'll check in with you again. Actually, I don't know if I'll check in with you again later or if the rest of today is just going to be B-roll footage. It's probably going to be the latter. We'll see. But if not, I will check in with you all tomorrow morning. Hello there. We have made it to day 4 of the Read and Peace Readathon, and I've officially finished my first book for the readathon. But first, I just want to tell you about how last night was. It was a really great concert at the symphony, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. It was structured, I guess, a little different than what I'm used to because I suppose, well, it's only my third time going to the symphony, actually. The first time was while the Seattle Symphony played during the Fellowship of the Rings. And then I also went earlier this year to watch Joshua Bell play Mendelssohn with the Seattle Symphony. So that was a whole, like, mostly, yeah, I think the Seattle Symphony did like a short concerto first, and then they played the Mendelssohn with Josh Bell, and then that was the end. But last night, they did a short piece with just the symphony, and then Long Long came out and played, and that was a good chunk of time. And then there was an intermission, and then the Seattle Symphony just played again. Whereas I guess I kind of expected the whole night to be Long Long playing. But if I'm being completely honest, my heart is in watching all the stringed instruments. I love seeing the standing basses because they're just massive. And I just love watching the violinists because even though it would scare the living daylights out of me to be on that stage, one day I am going to be first chair in a symphony. Even if it's just an imaginary symphony, we'll see. But I really enjoy going and watching professionals play and do what they love, which is super cool. And then when we were walking back down to the ferry, there were a couple of the violinists in front of us. They dipped into a bar, and we didn't realize until like right before they were turning into the bar that like I saw that they had their violin strapped to their backs, but for some reason I didn't connect, because I guess for me, I always think it takes performers a lot longer to get off the stage and get packed up and ready to go than like the crowd does. But they were packed up and ready like instantly. So that was pretty cool. I almost had the nerve to tell them that I really enjoyed listening to them play, but then I didn't, and they just looked like they wanted a drink after. playing their little fingers off. So we just headed straight towards the ferry. But the book I finished this morning was Fallen. I had just a couple minutes left. I had less than an hour. And I ended up giving it a 3-star rating out of 5. It was pretty decent for what it is. I mean, it's definitely one of those like guilty pleasure reads. There's definitely some problematic areas and some teenage angst and stuff. And it's kind of like a star-crossed lover's story, and a repetition of kind of not living the same life, but our main character, Luce, she and Daniel encounter each other every 17 years, and when they fall in love with each other, she dies. And then it's another 17 years that she comes back in another, like, time frame or whatever. So it was all right. I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was. I did look forward every time to picking it up and listening to it. But, so I do want to continue on with the story series just to finally check it off and finish it and all that good stuff. But it's not like a literary work to write home about or anything. I'm almost done with Children of the Mind, which is the 4th book in the Ender saga. I've got just under 3 hours left in that, and I am going to film my plan with me for next week today. So I'll get a little bit more listen to that, and then if I don't finish it today, I'll definitely finish it tomorrow. And then I also need to finish the Glass Magician tonight, and then get another section read of Out of Oz, since yesterday I was only able to read like 15-20 pages because I left work, went to my violin lesson, hopped on the ferry. Went to a symphony, hopped on the ferry. So I had a little bit of downtime where I was able to read, but not a whole lot, and not as much as I wanted. So I've basically got double the page count that I need to read today. But right now I am going to upload a video, and then I've got a call with my student mentor in like 3 minutes. And then I guess I'm gonna get to reading. I got to bed at like 12:30 last night, which is super, super late for me. I'm usually in bed by like 8 o'clock the latest, and I might stay up until 9:30 reading, but that's like the absolute latest. And I wake up at 5:45, so I didn't get a lot of reading done, and I think even if I try to study tonight, I'm probably going to fall asleep or try to and nod off. I'm going to have to fight nodding off as I'm studying, so I don't think I'm going to do that today. But it is really nice and like really crisp out right now, so I think after my call and when Sky gets home, maybe after dinner, we'll take the pups for a walk or something, or I'll see if my mom wants to. I'm not entirely sure, so I'll take you along with us for that if we do that. And if not, I guess if I have another reading update today, I will let you know. If not, I'll check in with you tomorrow. I don't really know, so we'll find out with the next clip, won't we? You guys want to go on a walk? Who wants to go on a walk? Not you guys, right? We are now on day 5 of the readathon. Today's Friday, and I finished a book last night and one this morning. So last night I did finish the Glass Magician, which I gave a 2-star rating, and I'm counting it as my book with I put it for the like witchy prompt, or the bewitching prompt, which is a book that either contains witches or you think will charm you in some way. And this one has magicians in it, which aren't exactly witches, but it definitely did charm me just like the first one did, just not quite as much as the first one. So I did enjoy it, but I thought the plot was a little redundant, and The main character was starting to annoy me because she just doesn't listen. So I finished that. I did enjoy it, but overall just a 3-star rating. And then this morning I finished the last hour I had left of Children of the Mind by Orson Scott Card. I'm giving this one a 2-star rating just because I don't know. These books, the rest of the Ender saga just weren't as good for me as like Ender's Game was. And I just found that I was always dragging my feet to start, like, to continue listening to them. And usually, like, I finish audiobooks within probably 3 to 5 days of getting them from my library, and I only had like 3 or 4 days left on my hold of this one, so it was just all right, but I don't know, a little disappointing for me. I might try the Ender's Shadow series, which follows Bean, because I think that takes us back more to Command School, which I liked a lot more, but I'm not entirely sure. I know there's quite a few books that sit in line with the Ender's universe, but I did finish Ender's Saga, which feels pretty good because that was one of my goals, to finish some series this year that I have already started. So I've officially finished 2 of the 12 or something like that series that I wanted to finish. I also today started reading a book that I have had on my shelves for ages. It's probably one of my oldest books I've owned that I haven't read yet, and that is The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. And I am listening to this right now through my library. I've only got 6 days left on the hold because I was dragging my feet with Children of the Mind. But I'm already 3 hours in, and it's an 18-hour audiobook, I think. So right now I'm somewhere around page like 120 or something like that. So making some progress. I really like this book, and I kind of knew I would because it's about this boy. It starts out, we follow this boy named Daniel when he's 10 years old, and right now he is 16, living in Barcelona with his dad. And it's starts out in 1945, so just after the end of World War II, when the city is still healing from all of that. But his dad is an antique bookseller, and his mom has passed away. And then Daniel gets this opportunity to go to this place that has like lost books in it, and he founds a book called The Shadow of the Wind by this author named Julian Carax, and he is a very mysterious author. Only like 90, he's got a couple books, but only like 90 copies are produced of each book, and they disappear. Someone burns them, and there's this guy who's following Daniel who really wants to burn his copy of the book. So it's a interesting story. It also says it's an epic story of murder, madness, and doomed love. So it kind of honestly gives me feels similar to The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. And I don't know if it's just that he's got this treasure that he's hiding from the world that, I mean, a couple people know about it, but it kind of has to stay a secret. And I don't know, I just like Daniel as a character a lot. I feel like he's very wholesome and very innocent, but not too naive in his innocence. And we've met some pretty good characters along the way that have just been like really good in his life. So I am enjoying this quite a bit. I know this is a series. I want to say there's 3 or 4 or 5. I don't know how many books in the series. I think 4 actually. And I've got the next one on hold as an audiobook through my library right now. I only own this one as a physical copy. And I picked it up at my local used bookstore because it's stunning. I mean, it's such a beautiful book. So I'm glad I'm finally getting to it because, like I said, I've had it on my shelves for ages and ages. So that's what I'm doing right now. I am vacuuming and then I'm going to go back to listening to my audiobook. I sorted through the kids' clothes today because I knew he had a lot of clothes that were too small, especially since we're transitioning from the end of summer into fall. So we're needing more of those long pants and long sleeves that obviously aren't going to fit him from last year to this year, because why would kids' clothes ever fit them 2 years in a row? So I've got a big pile of clothes. Some of them he can try on to see if they still fit, but basically we're going to need to take him shopping really soon. So I was listening to my book while I was doing that, and right now I'm vacuuming, and then when I go to mop, I'm going to continue listening to it. I won't finish this weekend. It's just I needed to get to it before my hold expired, or my loan expired, because there's quite a few people waiting for it, so I didn't want to have to wait for it any longer. So I'm gonna see what kind of a dent I can make with the audiobook, and see if I can renew it for a couple days. Or if not, I might have to finish this as a physical form, which would be okay too. I haven't made any more progress in Out of Oz because I finished The Glass Magician last night and I was already falling asleep from reading it last night because of my late night on Wednesday. So I don't know. And then this weekend we've got the kiddo. We're going to a high school football game tonight, so I'm not sure what kind of time I'll have to read. I might just kind of have to settle for only finishing 2 books for this readathon, but I'll keep you updated throughout the weekend and see if I make any more progress. We'll see. But that's it for right now. I might take you with me to the football game and just show you a little bit, but who knows. As always, it's going to be a big surprise for the both of us on what the next clip in this vlog is actually going to be. So I'm going to go back to doing my chores before the boys get home, and then I will check in with you at some point before the end of this. I need to vacuum the couch. You're going to have to move. Ronan, Dad won't be home for another hour at least. And you, little miss. What are you doing? That little tail's just going, isn't it?
Roll it up on you.
Okay, I have an idea. I'm doing it. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Hey. Can someone put it in?
Keep it on your knees and try and like stand up.
Hey guys, so it is officially the last day of the Creating and Co-Read Peace Readathon, and I think I'm gonna wrap this up here. I didn't read anything yesterday. Well, okay, that's not true. I read a chapter, 2 chapters in Out of Oz, and I listened to quite a bit more of The Shadow of the Wind. So I'm not going to finish up either of those books before today ends, so I am just going to wrap it up here. I did have a really good reading week though, and I feel like I finished 3 books. Two that I had already started and one that I started and finished throughout the week. So I feel pretty good about that. I've only got 2 books going now, Out of Oz and The Shadow of the Wind, which I'll probably finish up next week. So I hit, I think, 2 of the 5 prompts, but I think I can make my books stretch. When I'm done feeding the dogs, I'll go look at that and we can see what books covered which prompts. All right, so I've got The Glass Magician that I marked down for Bewitching. It's got light blue on the cover, so it could work for pastel on the cover. And then I basically did read it in Peace because I read it on my Kindle, so it was mostly at night and mostly while Skylar was partially asleep or at least absorbed in watching videos on his phone or on Reddit or whatever. And then I read Fallen for a Treat to Read, which doesn't have pastel on the cover, but I also did read that in Peace because I listened to it while I was at work. So for the most part, I wasn't bothered. And then the only prompt I didn't really touch was the group read. I mean, I didn't touch it at all because I didn't read The Babysitter's Coven. And then I only completed 1 photo challenge, which was the TBR stack. I didn't do Spooky Vibes, Cozy, or Plans and Reads, but I might quickly do Plans and Reads and post it. I'm not entirely sure. But I did really enjoy my reading for this month. I think it'll be nice to finish up those other books, especially because one finishes a series for me and the other is a book that I've had on my bookcase for far too long. So that'll feel really rewarding once I get those 2 finished. I would really love to know if you participated, and if so, what your favorite read for the week was, and if maybe we happened to read any of the same books. That would be really cool to know too. So please let me know down in the comments below, and I will chat with you there until my next video. Bye!